Hello, welcome to This Is My Architecture. I'm Alessandro from AWS. I'm joined today by Gernot Hacker from Cyxtera. Hello, Gernot. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Alessandro. Thanks for having me.
Can you please explain a little bit about Cyxtera and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Cyxtera is a US-based company. We have around about 1,200 employees. We run 56 data centers globally, but on top of that, more importantly, security products around cloud computing, specifically client access into cloud environments.
I understand. Okay, today we're going to talk about AppGate SDP. You told me SDP stands for Software-Defined Perimeter, right? Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes, so software-defined perimeter is a next level generation of VPN, basically on steroids, as I always call it. So it's a user-centric approach, not a device routing, allowing VPN kind of approach, but it's user-centric and gives you means to cope with challenges you have today where you have not only on-premise, but also maybe different cloud environments that you have to be able to provide secure access to.
Okay, so the use case is, for example, a development team who need to access some resources on AWS, and you want to provide just the authorization, the minimal authorization needed to do their own their work, right?
Exactly. Minimal is actually a good point. What I forgot to mention is that this SDP concept also consists of zero trust, meaning that you're only supposed to see what you're supposed to see. Like if you do a network scan, you don't see the whole subnet, but you only see the systems you're entitled to access.
Okay, I can see here we have some component. Can you please mention about, talk about the component?
Yeah, so what we use AWS for, obviously, we use EC2 to run our appliances. So we have a few components in the AppGate system. There's a controller, we do the configuration, alongside a log server that's doing exactly that, giving you rather good insights on what's going on in your network from this perspective. And we have gateways to give client connectivity, which means we have a client part as well there.
Okay, so this is the controller, this is the gateway, here is the customer VPC, right? The resources they need to access. Okay, how the flow looks like from a client perspective?
Yeah, so first, before we even talk about what communication is flowing from the client to the controller, having said that SDP is all about identity-centric remote access,
sure.
It means that you have to configure some kind of authentication, right? And that's actually done by the controller, where you configure what we call an identity provider, IDP. This could be SSO, or like in this case, IAM, even both of them if you want to.
Can I have also, for example, the customer has a pre-existing Active Directory, let's say, they can use it?
Surely. Okay. Having said that, SDP is all about client-centric. We can connect to any kind of directory. If it's talking LDAP, Radius, or SAML, we can integrate, and again, even into multiple ones if you need to.
Okay, I understand. So the client is going to connect first to the controller, right? And the controller is going to make the authentication?
Exactly. So when you connect, and by the way, this is being done through a special packet. It's called SPA, Single Packet Authorization. So those AppGate appliances will only accept traffic coming from your specific customer AppGate client. So this is the first level of authentication, SPA. And only those connections will be accepted by the AppGate systems. And then authentication is happening. The user says, I'm in Active Directory, whatever. This is who I am. This is my password. And then this is being passed through by the controller. And then the controller wraps up a package, an entitlement token that consists all the, entitlements this connection coming from this device is supposed to have.
Okay, so once the client gets back the security token with all the authorization, what's the next step?
Yeah, so the next step is now the client knows what it has access to. Knowing what usually means not IP addresses, right? But more like DNS names. So DNS obviously is facilitated for resolving the target hosts, but also what you can do is you can facilitate the AWS name resolvers. So you can, if in here in your VPC, for example, instances with a tag that says developer web server, for example. And this is something we can resolve into actual IP addresses from a routing perspective.
Okay. Okay, so the client at that point will connect through the gateway to the final resources, right? And the the client will only get the view that is supposed to view based on the authentication he has done in the first step.
Exactly. So the client actually knows its firewall rules, actually routes are being created on the client. And then with knowing what it can access, it's going through the AppGate gateway. And the gateway can even enforce conditions, saying, for example, you're now not coming from your on-premise safe environment, but from the outside, please present a one-time password, for example. And only then I give you access to the target systems down there in the VPC.
Okay, and from a client perspective, it doesn't matter if the client is located within the company, outside the boundaries of the company, right? This is the advantage of having this solution as well.
Exactly, that's also one part of the definitions of software-defined perimeter as a paradigm for network access. You treat every client equal, as in you don't trust them in the first place, and then you figure out who's coming in from which device, and only then give access to what the connection is supposed to see. But yes, it reflects all of those scenarios.
Oh, great. Okay. So let's say, you mentioned before behind the scene while we were talking about the architecture, there are some peculiarity about your solution, like parallel tunneling, for example. Can you please explain a little bit for it?
Sure, yeah. For keeping this halfway simple, we left out the scalability of the whole thing. So if you spin up like more instances of internet servers, for example, and you need more bandwidth, you can auto-scale. But on top of that, this scales happily into different VPCs or in parallel connections to 3 VPCs and an on-premise environment. So that's our patented technology, that our encrypted tunnel can have multiple sessions open in parallel to give you transparent move over from purely on-premise to extension into cloud, or maybe moving over at some point in time. And you can happily connect to all those worlds in parallel.
Yeah, Gernot, thanks a lot for the explanation. This was great, and thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Alessandro.
Thanks for watching. This is my architecture.